Guys, I'm so glad that we get to discuss Drag Duel together as a sisterhood. Yeah, I'm sure it means the world to have expert opinions like yours weigh in.
I know Casey's controlling, but I'm over CT and that shitty attitude of his. Like, who's that helping, girl? Come on. Who's running camera today? Clegg? Cue, Clegg.
Anyway, I'm feeling good about the song. How about you guys? I could use a few more run throughs.
Yeah, I need to work on my verses.
I don't know. I'm not trying to be whatever, but they always call me controlling when the truth is, I honestly sometimes feel like I'm carrying this whole team. As a big fan of the art of drag, I'm kind of required by law to enjoy RuPaul's Drag Race. But I think even the most diehard fans would agree that the biggest obstacle to enjoying the show is the fandom itself. Armed with very strong opinions and the relative anonymity of the internet, people are very quick to show love to the queens that they like, but unfortunately, even quicker to show hate to the ones that they don't. And they don't hold back. And that wariness has led to people feeling that Drag Race has become increasingly sanitized as the queens don't want to rock the boat or risk pissing off someone with an active fandom. This leads to further discourse within the fandom, with a lot of people saying that everybody complains about RuPaul's Best Friends race, but then they call people who want to stir the pot or bring a little drama, bullies and instigators, and get their social media accounts shut down. And it's here that I have to remind everyone, including myself, that a fandom of any kind is not a monolith. So chances are it's two different groups of people. The people who want RuPaul's Best Friends race probably aren't the ones that are, complaining that there's not enough drama these days. About the 20th time you've seen some variation of the same argument on Reddit or Twitter, it just makes you less enthusiastic to engage with the show outside of just watching it. Enter Drag Duel, an online drag competition that was featuring artists from around the world, a variety of different drag perspectives, and a whole bunch of different gender expressions. I was really, really excited. The fact that they weren't isolated and put up in a hotel somewhere kind of gives us a rare glimpse behind the curtains, showing us not only how they manage their art, but also how they navigate their everyday life. Best of all, since a lot of the fans were going to be coming from the drag detective and would therefore be fans of Drag Race, then they understood how much the constant online harassment can sour a viewing experience for a whole competition. So they were bound to be a lot more chill and civil in the comments and to the queens on social media, right? Let's discuss.
Are we going to talk about this wig?
I don't want to talk about the wig, man. I thought about fixing it, but honestly, it helps people to appreciate how good drag artists are because it could look like this.
Yeah, take a look at this. It could be so much worse.
All right, Drag Duel. So I was pretty pumped when the cast was announced. They seem to have a variety of skill levels, experience levels. Sorry, that's what I meant to say. That's kinder than saying skill. But also a lot of styles of drag. There were some alternative, glam, camp, and some drag kings.
Yeah, it was setting up to look pretty exciting. And then came the first elimination. It was rough, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, watching a talented young artist not being able to continue with something that they're passionate about is pretty heartbreaking, even when they aren't openly weeping. But boy, when a fan favorite shows vulnerability, people think that the judges and other contestants are invulnerable, apparently.
Yeah, the harassment and abuse that they faced actually delayed production for a week. I think they lost a lot of the viewership. And I think that that first elimination really negatively affected how the fans treated a certain queen for pretty much her entire run of the competition.
Trisha can.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I was just sneezing. And I was saying it was Trisha Can that people treated like crap.
Agreed. And all this from a show that I sought out to just enjoy some drag.
Okay, so we boycott Drag Duel going forward, yeah? Yeah. I don't want to spend my time and energy supporting something that gets marginalized people shat on.
Well, no. I don't think that defending queer artists should include shutting down an opportunity for them to reach a wider audience or make money. But the show bears some responsibility for putting them in a position to receive so much negative attention. I don't know if I agree with that. I mean, reality TV has been a pretty consistent part of the public consciousness for longer than some of my friends have been alive. At some point in time, if we're falling for the edit, isn't that on us?
But if we don't fall for the edit a little bit, doesn't it mean that the story is failing? Yeah, the point of entertainment is to make you feel something.
Yes, exactly. I think that's it. You're saying like story and entertainment, and that's what this is. It's not some searing look into a person's psyche. It's just a chapter from their life, and I think it's a little unfair to assume that that's the whole of them. Whole.
I think I get what you're saying. Not everybody does well in super stressful situations. Not everybody is comfortable on camera, and not everybody has an outgoing personality.
Exactly, exactly. All yelling isn't bullying. Some people are just loud. All crying isn't manipulation. Some people are just crybabies. And all decisions that we don't agree with is not someone having bad taste, it's just different than ours. And I don't know why we can't keep our armchair analysis out of people's comments and DMs. I've been going to a lot of local drag lately.
And you don't always agree with the results.
I don't. Sometimes I strongly disagree with the outcome of a competition, but that just means that I tip the queens that I supported, not that I mean, I've never felt the need to like message a judge and tell them that they're wrong at what they're doing because I don't know their criteria.
Right, but the point of a program is to get engagement to some extent. Comments and discussion feed the algorithm, or so I'm told. So, what does that look like in your drag utopia?
I don't know. I mean, I guess remembering that I don't find dropped waistlines flattering as helpful, but you don't have a personality isn't.
Can I ask a question?
Always.
How helpful do you think it is to HBO for you to make a 40-minute video with your puppets talking about the idol?
Dude, are you seriously comparing criticizing Indigenous drag artists to criticizing The Weeknd?
No, not at all. So, how famous does somebody have to be before we can make fun of them freely?
I mean, you can always make fun of someone freely, but like, even if The Weeknd wanted to watch every idol criticism on YouTube, it would take him like 5 days to get to mine.
So it's fine if it's in the middle of a pylon. Hey, 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 hey!
I think that maybe
This is censorship.
I think that it's possible.
You don't do this well when you're by yourself. You work better as a team.
Look, there's not a perfect way to engage with art critically. but I think that we can apply critical thinking to what it is that we are wanting to accomplish when we say something.
Yeah, it's also important to remember that drag is subjective. It's a lot like stand up comedy. People's tastes vary, and it's probably going to be very personal to the person doing it.
Mm. Yeah, and they're doing their best to make somebody's day a little bit better, so maybe don't go out of your way to make their day worse.
You know what's helpful? Get your friends to watch the same shows as you. That way you can put all your rage and frustration into a lively group chat, and no one will ever know what a bastard you are unless it gets read out in court.
Yeah, speaking of which, watch the first season of Drag Duel. It's on YouTube and we can talk about it.
Go watch local drag because it is a Herculean effort that they put into these shows, and they deserve the attendance and your tips. And speaking of tips, here's our thoughts going into season 2. Ba-da-ba-da-ba-ba. Drag Duel was a heck of a show. It was great, but I'm not sad to see it go. From the talent show to the ball, it seems like drag viewers have learned nothing at all.
If you find yourself inclined to watch a second season, here's some tips to help you keep your
Sanity and reason.
The judge's thoughts affect the outcome, ours do not. If you want that kind of power, go apply for a spot.
Read your text out loud now. Would you say that to their face? No, then their comments and DMs also aren't the place. Your opinion counts, of course, because you're a human being. But don't get pissed if others just don't see what you are seeing. Our tips will sure treat you well. Be nice to drag queens or go straight to hell.
Hey guys, out of drag Casey here, popping in to say that I watched the original conclusion of my Drag Duel video and decided it was a little pissier and mean than I wanted it to be, and I didn't even talk about Drag Duel all that much. It was just very frustrating to see shake down as a season, not only the way that the people treated the contestants, but also the way that they spoke about the judges. Like, one of the founders organically grew a very successful YouTube channel breaking down Drag Race. And then all of a sudden, when people didn't agree with his judging on Drag Duel, it was like, well, he's a dum-dum and he doesn't know anything about drag anyway. And it's like, well, what changed? Like, what changed between the Drag Detective and Drag Duel, other than that you didn't necessarily agree with the criteria? And there's also just, I don't know, the way that people choose to look at people who entertain and put themselves in the public eye is very disheartening to me. Because, like, I know that to some extent, if you're signing up for a reality show, you know what you're getting into, or you know the possibility of what you're getting into. But I really don't think that anybody knows until they are in that position. Like, I had a tweet about the show Supernatural that I don't even follow that much, really get a lot of attention from people that love Supernatural once. And they didn't agree with my premise, and they were very unkind. And, like, I didn't hashtag Supernatural or anything. It was just people who were searching for it and found it, and then found me by extension. And it's like, no, I just wanted to put my silly little thought about a show out there. I didn't want to critique it that hard. And I don't think that people understand the volume of interaction that people suddenly get when something, especially in the social media sphere, takes off. The level of scrutiny that you're under, and the way that people talk to you, because truly and sincerely, as someone who has put art out in the world, like, people will say some very rude things in a public forum about it, but, like, there is also a subset of the population that very much enjoys sending nasty personal messages to artists. And I know that that has nothing to do with drag or anything else. Those are just miserable people. But I feel like when people suddenly face a wall of those and then some other, less kindly worded critiques, then it all starts to run together. You don't necessarily, when you are receiving it all, you don't necessarily say, well, this person just said that they didn't like my style, and this person said that I should end my own life. It's like, no, when you're getting it all at once, it just kind of goes into the same bowl. And I thoroughly reject the notion that people should just be grateful for whatever kind of exposure and attention that they get on a large program. I don't believe that. And I think that you're dumb if you do. That's not true. I think that you're a perfectly intelligent person who had a very dumb thought that you should examine. Like, no, nobody owes anyone gratitude for getting more screen time if the screen time that they are getting makes them unhappy when they see the final edit. And yeah, you kind of know that risk going in, but that's like saying everybody who's lost big at a casino like has no right to sympathy. Sure, that's a very harsh way of looking at the world, but like I do think that if we examine it within ourselves, we can all relate to the idea of wanting to take a big risk and then being disappointed by the results. So, I don't know. I guess I just want us all to remember that these are human beings at the end of the day. I probably think about it too seriously. A drag artist that I really like in Cook County recently won a spot in a local competition, and I made a post celebrating that I ended up deleting because I didn't want the other really, 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 really talented drag artist to think that it was like a knock on them. And like, I don't think that's a way to live. I don't think that you should feel like you can't celebrate the people that you like because someone else might get their feelings hurt. But at the same time, I think there's a happy medium in between the way I'm navigating social media and the way that others do. As to Drag Duel itself, honestly, I really enjoyed it. I found it just such a nice break on my Mondays and then sometimes Tuesdays, depending on technical difficulties. The contestants, for those of you who are curious and want to look up their social medias, there was Bobby Uranus, Callie Coquette, Christy Da Vinci. Oh, geez. Hang on. Okay. So, Drag Duel itself, I really enjoyed it. I found it just such a nice escape on my Monday, sometimes Tuesday afternoons, depending on like production difficulty. And I appreciate that they all found the time to make it happen over the very extended production period. The contestants, for those of you who are curious and would like to follow them on their socials, and you should, because like these are some really dynamic people with a cool point of view. They weren't all necessarily my cup of tea, but every single contestant said or produced or performed something that I was really, really impressed by at some point in the season. Anyway, the contestants were Bobby Uranus, Callie Coquette, Christy Da Vinci, Glass Stain, Hydra, Orbit, She Needs a Woman, Susan, Titanic Donovan, Tyler Null, Rosa Gold. I don't know how I missed Rosa Gold. That lady had a personality. Anyway, they were all really cool. They did some super cool runways, some really interesting performances. Even the ones that I wasn't necessarily here for, I was like, I see the vision. I did disagree with a lot of the wins, but I honestly just would have like switched a few around probably. They might have ended up with a comparable number of wins. The most obvious example that I can think of is I might have switched Trisha Can and Christy Da Vinci's win on the Gaga Art Pop Ball and the Unconventional Materials Challenge, respectively, but they were both so good in both. Like, it was just a toss up. It was really just your preference. And that's what it all comes down to. Like, I don't automatically call riggery because someone's preferences are different than mine, but because presumably you want to hear my preferences. Best look of the season, I would have to give it either to Christie's IKEA bag dress, or Trisha made this just sumptuous gray sweatsuit, like princessy thing. It's on her Instagram. It's so cool. I want it for myself. Mug of the season, Orbit. Orbit? Orbit. Like, just beautiful makeup artistry. And I don't know, her ability to still be kind of expressive through the makeup was super impressive. Lip sync of the season, I loved the one where they didn't have an elimination and they had a drag duel to have fun. It was Rain on Me. We got to see all of them dance and perform, and it was like, I adored it. You get to see everybody's take on the song and what they would bring to the stage. Sorry, I know I'm more awkward without the puppets, but I did not feel like getting back into drag, and I did not feel like putting them back into drag either. I kept stabbing myself in the finger with all of their makeup and things pinned on. So I was like, I'm just gonna do this solo because, like I said, the original one was less kind than I intended. And when the whole point is taking a moment and remembering that, like, everyone you interact with online generally is a real person with their own real thoughts and feelings, it wouldn't really be in keeping with the spirit of that if I put something out there that didn't acknowledge that a lot of fans were really cool throughout the whole drag duel experience. I feel like I'm probably not the only one that was grateful for getting to see and meet some new artists. I hope I'm not the only one that was tipping along the way. And I hope that their second season goes well, and they should really, really bring some of these artists in to be like guest judges or something like that, because I would hate for this to be the end of their drag duel journey. Anyway, stay safe, be happy, and for God's sake, put on some lipstick. Bye, dirtbags.
I'm so hungry, and I can't breathe. Every time I do drag, I'm so thankful that I don't have a urinary or digestive system because I couldn't get out of this in time. Who's running camera today? Clegg? You, Clegg. Go away. Shoo.
Do you guys hear how loud this cat is licking behind me? That's insane. Okay. Oh, that actually felt pretty good. Oh, that's cute, Gritty. Hold that pose.